Alright, this is from my buddy Rory. It's the Zora publisher Rav Michelle Laitman, PhD. Alright, the prologue about the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yoshi studying Rabbi Akiva in Cave of the Pequin, Adra Rabbah, the Book of Great Assembly, the Book of Zora, Reincarnation of the Unique Soul, Rishabhi's departure about the Book of Zohar, removing the cover, the accelerated spread of the wisdom, introduction, list of abbreviation, explanations, original names, and equivalents except for the English translation, original titles equivalent except for the English translation, example of the original text of Zohar, little translation or foresighted with the text for the Aramaic into English. The rose, the goal of creation, seraphat, screen, parts of inverse proportion between the vessel and light, state of catnut, smallness, the state of gadget, greatness, adulthood, ascent of the lower one to the upper one, light of Zion is the light of the world, BYA, correction of 3 white lines, flower buds, who created these by Eluia, mother lends her clothes to her daughter, letters of the Rabbi Haman Shabbat, the letters of Hebrew alphabet, punctuation marks of the Hebrew alphabet, letter of Tavah, letter of Shin, letter of Kavah, letter of Relish, letter of Tazik, letter of P, letter of Eon, letter of Samek, letter of Nun, Mem, and Lane, letter of Shaf, Yad, Tatan, Zamin, Vav, Hey, Dalut, Gimel, Bet, and Alpha. Supernal wisdom, lock and key, Avram, vision of the Rabbi Shiva. Who is your partner? The donkey driver, the 2 points, the night of the bride, the heaven and earth. Among all sages of the nations of the world, there are none like you. Who is this? He who rejoices on holidays, Torah and prayer, Rabbi Shimon, departure from the cave, first commandment, second commandment, third commandment, fourth commandment, fifth commandment, sixth commandment, seventh commandment, eighth commandment, ninth commandment, 10th commandment, 11th commandment, 12th commandment, 13th commandment, 14th commandment, and the intention of prayer, raising prayer, Appendix 1, further reading, and about Appendix 2, about B'nai Baruch, and to contact B'nai Baruch. Prologue, Rabbi Shimon Bar in the 2nd century, the CE, a single man granted with the spiritual knowledge of Kabbalah has accumulated within 3,000 years before his time. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochi put it all on paper, then hid it, and humanity was not ready for it. Today we are ready for the revelation of Book of Zohar. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochi, Rishabhi, author of the Book of Zohar, the Book of the Radiance, or was taken out with the great save of the early common era of centuries. Rabbi named numerously legend that he mentioned constantly with the Talmud in the Midrash, sacred Hebrew texts of this time. He lived in Sidon and Meron, established seminary, Western Galilee. Rabbi Rishibi was born and raised in the Galilee and mountainous region in today's northern islands. Even as a child, he was not like other children his age. Questions such as, what is the purpose of life, who am I, and how was the world built, plagued him and demanded answers. In those days, life with the Galilee, with the harsh Romans, persecuted Jews, continually invented new laws to make their lives more difficult. Among these laws, the decree prohibited the Jews from studying the Torah, then and synonymous with the Kabbalah. However, despite the Romans' prohibition, the Rabbi Rishibi immersed himself in the Kabbalah and tried to understand the subtitle teachings. He felt that beneath the biblical story of the profound, the hidden truth which held the answers to persistent questions. Gradually, Rabbi Shimon came to realize that he had been defined as a teacher who had already been through the spiritual path, gained experience, and could guide others with the spiritual ladder. He decided to join the group of the greatest of the Kabbalists for the time, Rabbi Avika. A decision was turned out to be the turning point of the Rabbi Shiba's life. Rabbi Shimon was avid, devoted student, burning with a desire to discover the higher realm of the reality. Before long, he was one Rabbi Al-Kavita, prime student. He studied with Rabbi Al-Kavita for 13 years, achieved the highest level on spiritual ladder. The bar of Shekovoshia, revolt abruptly ended with the great day for the Rabbi Akiva of the seminar. Almost 24,000 students did and died in the plague from the fierce battle with the monks against the Romans. Over the 24,000 students, only 5 survived. Rasheba was among them. Rasheba was among the Bar Kavogia revolt against the Roman rule in land Israel. The resistance became even more severe and unyielding when he learned how his teacher, Rabbi Kavia, has been ruthlessly executed. The turn writers and Rashbi spoke in the Roman rule the fellow of the Jew and heard him in an altar of the Roman authorities, and consequently the rabbis tried to Amsensia when sentenced to death. The Roman emperor sent men for search of them, but the disappointment of Rabbi Sheba to his vanish into the air. The cave of Pakwan. Later, legends have it that Rasheba and his fled to the Galilee and hid in the cave of the Paquin village northeast of Israel. Remained there for 13 years. During the time that developed the secrets of the wisdom of the hidden, that there were efforts to see, but they discovered the entire system of the creation. After 13 years in the cave, Rasheba heard that the Roman Empire had died, and he could finally have a sigh of relief. After leaving the cave, Rasheba generally gathered 9 students and went with him to a small cave in the Maroon and known as the Idra Rabbah, Great Assembly. With their help, they wrote the Book of Zohar and most important book of the Kabbalah. Baal Salam discovered the Rashid, but he assumed that it only began with the achieved perfection with 125 spiritual degrees, complete with the correction of one soul. When he finished with the commentary with the Book of Zohar, Belia Husham had festival mailed to celebrate the completion. After the celebration, he said that prior to the day of the Messiah, prior to the days of the Messiah, impossible to be awarded with 125 degrees, except with the Rasheba and the contemporary meaning with the authors of the Book of Zohar. He was awarded 225 degrees of completeness, even though that lived with the prior to the days of the Messiah. And was often found with the Zohar that there will not to be a generation such as the Rasheba until the generation of Messiah of the King. There was a composition made such a strong impression from the world about the secrets of Torah and occupying the level of about all 125 degrees. This also was why the Zohar and the Book of the Zohar will be not revealed except at the end of the days, being meaning of the days of the Messiah. Alright, Idra Rabbah, Great Assembly of the Book of Zohar. The Idra Rabbah is cave located in north Israel between Moran and Zephalat. Rashaba took students for the cave, they wrote the Book of the Zohar, and the almost impossible to understand with the great of the Risham, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yushi, was belong with the Baal Salam puts in the highest inner light, then why he had to use Rabbi Abba to put the words in writing. The Book of Zohar, to Rashaba tells the students, I'm arranging the following. Rabbi Abba will write the Rabbi Elzer, my son, who study orally. The rest of the friends will converse in their hearts. The Zohar has Zina. Book of Zohar was written in the 2nd century of CE, and not long after the run of the Second Temple, beginning with the last exile of the people of Israel from the land. But even prior to the exile, Rashibi predicted that the Book of Zohar would only reveal the end of the exile. He stated that the appearance of the masses would symbolize the end of the spiritual exile, and that will come out of the exile within mercy, Zohar, and Niso. And it was written that the Book of Zohar, that the wisdom would be revealed to all toward the end of the 6,000 years, and a period allotted to the correction of humanity. When near the day of the Messiah, even infants of the world are destined to find secrets of the world. Know that in them the end of the calculation of redemption at the time in which they revealed to all Zohar Rezirot. Reincarnation, a unique soul. Rasheba is an incarnation of the unique soul, which coordinates the connection with the upper force of every connection. The soul comes down into our world that incarnates the patriarchs of the Kabbalah. Alright, this is the order of appearance. Abraham, Moses, Rasheba, Shimon, Bar Yushi, and Rabbi Isaac Luri. And Rabbi Yumad Eshlag, or Baal Hassam. Each incarnation of the soul promotes the humanity of the new spirit degree level to mark with the Kabbalah books which serve the generations as files. The files. Example of the process can be found with a special section of the Torah called the Riyah Mehem, and these parts were sheep that spoke for the state of the clothing of Moses are sold. Another example of this book is Shar Hiligalium, Gate of Reincarnations, where Shabbos speaks for the state of the clothing and soul of Rabbi Ezek Lurie. The Book of Zohar is undoubtedly unique, one of the world's most renowned compositions since the writing of thousands of the series and thousands of stories have been linked to the Zohar, and the books are shrouded with the mystery to today. The fascination around it is great enough that even the book of the complete and incomprehensible in our generation with the proper interpretation, millions of people diligently read it. According to the tradition, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yusha passed away in the presence of his friends, the Bag Amor, and the 33rd day of the Omar count, which starts on the first day of the Passover over the year of 160 CE, was burned in the Maran, where his death and soul was against the Kabbalist completed, death in the soul of the divine Kabbalist completed in the task of the world. Rashabai filled the destination, however, the 1,000 visit for the gravesite yearly tried to send some of the light that he had brought in the world, that the greatest of the Kabbalists prayed for the composition, repeatedly claimed the Book of Zohar is destined to bring redemption to the world. Rav Kook, the first chief of the Rabbi Israel, writes that Zohar, the composition composed with the Book of Zohar, like Noah's Ark, where there are many kinds, but those kinds of the families could not exist unless they entering the Ark. Thus, the righteous will enter the secret light of its composition to persist, and thus virtue of the composition immediately with engaging with the desire of the love of God, draw him with the magnets, draws the iron, and he will enter to save his soul and spirit in correction. And even if he is wicked, there is no fear should he enter. We're living in a historical time such as the soul of Rasheba is completing the mission in our generation. Thanks to the spiritual giant we learned not 2,000 years ago, wisdom of Kabbalah, emerging it so as well as extending the life of the eternity and the wholeness. Alright, about the Book of Zohar. The Book of Zohar is the most mysterious and same time the most significant book of the Kabbalah. In recent years, it becomes increasingly clear about the Book of Zohar was written 18 centuries ago. It was a accounting written for our time. Rabbi Ashalag opened it and was up to us and rekindled that he is long forgotten from our hearts. The depth of the wisdom of the Book of Zohar is locked behind thousands of doors. Rashiba Yahad Ashalag praise for the Book of Zohar, since the draw of the humanity, unique individuals climb the spiritual ladder, achieve the highest level of the binding of the upper force and the Creator. We call those Kabbalists. When the binding they came to understand that the whole reality of the highest spiritual world, down to our world, is found on a love and bestow. They revised nothing to word exact with the force, for everything that happens of the reality was made only to bring humanity to permanent existence with this sensation. Kabbalists have searched for the answers to every question they ask for the purpose of our life, the structure of the world, and how we can determine our destiny. They discovered the books such as Verzil, Hamaka, Seraph, Jezitra, Ed Shema, the Tree of Life, and others. Of all the books of the most seminal mysteries profound with the Book of Zohar describes the hidden system of the upper guidance that aspects of the world with the greatest power for the governing them, and how they will choose to study the Kabbalah affects his or her own faith and that of humanity. Zohar also explains how everything that cascades from the upper world through the hours and distressing is acquired, but will make the Zohar unique with the fact that it's not written for the contemporaries, but rather intended for the generation that would live 2 millennia later, or our generation. Moving the covers. Our generation stand at their threshold of redemption if we only have to spread the wisdom of the hidden in the masses. Baham Hal Shema, Messiah's horn. The 20th century has brought unprecedented change. It has been opened the door for the whole new phase of the greatest Kabbalists that have now been described in the century within their writings. There is change of all these things in the century. Kabbalists are stated, but the Kabbalists is not only permitted, it must. It's written with the Book of Zohar, but the wisdom of the Kabbalists would only spread with the year of would begin spreading with the year of 1840. But the year greater than the 18th century for the Kabbalists, the Vila Galan wrote that the Book of the Kal Torah, or Voice of Turtle Dove, the process of revelation of Kabbalists would begin with the 1990s. In this book, even the Shalah and the Perfect Just Way, the chapter 11 has been even stated that the redemption depends primarily on the study of the Kabbalah. Kook explained that the greater spiritual question that was once resolved with a greater excellence must now be resolved to the various degrees within the entire nation. But the Baal HaShalom, who turned the world of Kabbalah from the version of the tangible reality, clearly saw the time and had come with the law that everyone inside of the book of Zohar proclaimed that they had been studying the Zohar, but the whole humanity would rise and attain the spiritual world. Within the revision of the mind, the Baal has devoted himself to composing a comprehensive, accurate, systematic interpretation of the book of Zohar. His goal was to unveil the book to the public and make it suitable for the souls of our generation. In the introduction of the commentary of the Zohar, he explained why he wrote, I have named the commentary Hal Salam, later to indicate the function of the commentary is in function of any ladder. If you have an attic filed with abundance, you will not need only a ladder to climb it, and all the abundant bounty in the world will be your hands. Prologue. Acceleration of the speed of the wisdom. The Kabbalists dreamed of the generation when the whole humanity could discover the wondrous things that they had already had. They prayed that they all have the reading of authentic sources that they had left us. We too, and would achieve the bonding with the upper force as they did with the commentary of the Book of Zohar. Baal HaShalom and threw up his rope and life with the buoy, and doing so, he paved the white way to the future of the abundance prosperity. Baal HaShalom called upon him for the great wave of the engagement of the wisdom of Kabbalah to accelerate the spreading of the wisdom. He knew that only the wisdom of the Kabbalah could evaluate the world with the spiritual realm into the intensity of Kabbalah says experienced throughout the generation. Webster's dictionary defines the generation group of the individual born and living contemptuous at the state in the Kabbalah. However, the generation of spiritual phase according with the grade of the Kabbalah, such as holy and ARI in our generation, a simple spiritual phase began with the 16th century. The longer we wait for the spiritual session of the generated meant to achieve, the greater will be our discomfort. The spirit realm that determines which happens in our world will increase the pressure until we decide to achieve the realm of ourselves. In other words, the great Kabbalah of the Rabbi Abraham Azula in his introduction to the book of the Oram Kama, or Light of the Sun, I found it with the ring above the degrees to not only engage the wisdom of the truth only in the time until the end of the 1490. From then on, the sentence, if it has been lifted, the permission to give and to engage with the book of Zohar from the year before 1540 has become praiseworthy. To engage the great number of sins for the virtue of this Messiah King will come. Not been another virtue is inappropriate to be negligent. But the wise understand that the elevation comes from the Creator, the tree of life, and those with the righteous shall shine with the brightness of the firmament. Daniel 12:3. By the virtue of the Rabbi Shimon composition, the Book of Zohar from the supernatural forces bring all the beings back of the Creator at the end of the days, and the children of Israel will taste the great tree of life, which the Bor Zohar will redeem the exile with the Creator's mercy. Naso 90. Alright, introduction. The Book of Zohar narrates that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and his son Rabbi Abba have leveled the prophet Elijah, level of the prophet of Elijah. Hence it said that Elijah himself visited the cave at the top of the Torah, and incidentally the cave of the vigil of the Pelican still existed today. The author of the Bible, Yoel, wrote in the following the book of the Torah, Rashabai, before Rabbi Shimon studied the secret of the Torah, they were ruled in the cave itself of the dispute, that according to the opinion of the Rabbi Yehuda, author of the Talmud. However, the Rabbi Shimon had left the cave with everything in the writing of the Torah with the conservative exceed all human attainment. Rashaba himself received the Bezinta Kadisha, or the holy candle, as he had handled the soul of the Moshe or Moses. Verdicts for the legislative, the procedural matter for the rendering, the corner for the Talmud, of the book of Zohar, depending on whether the matter is explained with the more strictly if the matter is mentioned in neither the Talmud nor in the book of Zohar. The decision based on the source of the elucidates this matter, the disputed matter between the Talmud and the legislative, the decision based on the assertion of the book of Zohar. If the legislators themselves cannot come up with agreement with the matter to dispute, the decision is based on the opinion of the Zohar, Mishan Baruch 25:42. The greater Yeshiva as an heir non-receivable of the soul of the Rabbi Isaiah Luri, or the holy Ari, wrote with the soul of the returning of the soul of the Rabbi Shimon, and Rabbi Shimon was returned with the soul of Moses. Shara Galimia, item 64, he also wrote the soul of the Moses cloth, clothed in the Rashiba correct with the soul of the Hel Shalom, Elijah of the Shilonite, Elijah of the Shilonite, who corrupted the Malshalit, on the account of the sin of the king Varanum, which promoted the transgressions of Israel. Hence, the soul of the Resheba appeared to correct Israel's sin. The part of the Zohar titled with the Ra Mahilium, or loyal shepherd, relates to how Resheba attained the soul of the Moses, merged with it, and attained the supernal wisdom. It worked from the Maroon and V. Rababan and Kli Yarker, or Malachium 2:12. The greater the Hal Shidah also says that Rabbi Rashibi entered work with the correction of the same with the Shi Shalash Shilan. As Rabbi Rashabai says in the Talmud, I can redeem the entire world from the judgment from the day of my birth until the present day. And if my son is with me from the day the world was created to the present day, and if Yotam ben Uzi Maha with us for the day of the world was created. At the end of the book of the Melshalam narrates that Yodia ben Uzziah 2015. After the verdict was left for the Resheba to found with the cemetery of the settlement with the Tekoh in the village of Moran, he taught the disciplines of Kabbalah and wrote the book of Zohar, thereby revealing the forbidden and revealed at the times of the Israel reception of the Torah. However, it's written down on all secret of the Torah. The Rabbi Shimon had to express the secret of the Rabbi Resheba disciple. Rabbi Abba, in a unique quality, is the soul of the quality enabled him to convey the spiritual knowledge, and secret is concealed. But hence, the Rabbi Shimon asked his disciple to express some thoughts from him, for him that commit with the Resheba thought with the paper. Explain the ARI explained with the following: the book of Zohar must remain concealed with the generation coming with them. Yeah.
Is there anything else you need?
No. Grab some sodas out of the back when you come in.
What?
Grab some Mountain Dew when you come in out of the back.
Okay.
Alright, I explained the following. The book of Zohar must remain concealed with the generation of the Messiah, as through the study of the book of the humankind return with the spiritual exile. This is why Rabbi Abba wrote the teaching of the Rabbi Shimon with the Aramaic as the Versailles of Hebrew. The ARI Memorim Rishab, this article for the Resheba, page 100, the written with the Zohar, with the secret of the possible, with the soul of the Rabbi Abba, origin, name of the surrounding light, not within the inner light. For this, the region of the ARI explained that he should, or the articles of Resheba could impress more supernatural wisdom than secret the simple stories. Rabbi Shimon lived approximately 80 to the age of 80 and passed away on a holiday of Lagab Ba Omor, the 18th of the month of ER, and surrounded by the discipline recognized by the entire nation. The day of the celebrity. The day is celebrated as a holiday of light. The Resheba Rabbi Hishmin was burned in the cave of the Mount Moran. The body of his son Rabbi Elzamar is buried a few meters from him. This is subsequent compositions of the article of the Resheba and other Kabbalists have evidently searched a lot of the true spiritual book. The book of Zohar was concealed for some 1100 years in the cave of the Moran since the day it was written, until the Arabian man, or an Arab man, found it and sold it in the market with the wrapping of the cloth. Part of the torn sheets fell into the hands of the sage, was recognized and appreciated by the value of the writing. After the long search, he recovered many of the sheets, refusing to bend, and bought them from the spices vendors who are selling the merchandise wrapped in the sheets for the Zohar, which was out of the recovered sheet of the book, as we know it today, was compiled. For many centuries, sometime until the day of the book of Zohar, has been subject to controversy, philosophers, scientific, the sages, still debate today. Yet, in fact, the Kabbalists is one of the sense of the particular spiritual degree attended with the book of the veins. To all other people, it seems like the collection of narrative stories, ascendant of philosophy on those who do not comprehend the book of argue over it. But Kabbalists know that certain Resheba books are the greatest source of the spiritual attainment, but the greater imparted upon this world. Alright, although the book of Zohar was written in the 2nd century, the only Rabbi Yashid Eshalag was able to provide a full commentary of the 1930s-1940s. The reason for the concealment of the Zohar was from the 2nd century to the 13th century, like a complete commentary of the 18th century is explained in the introduction of the book of Zohar. Resheba al-Shila called his commentary as solemn. or the latter, because of the studying with it, one extent of the spiritual gains attaining upper worlds, one would climb a ladder in our world. Following the publishing of the Salam commentary, the Rabbi Sheba received the affable Hillsham, owner of the later of the customary among the age of the Torah, to call the person out by the name and according to the highest attainment. Alright, the Book of Zohar contain the Hazma, the Hakadama Sefer HaZorah, or the introduction to the Book of Zohar, contains several articles that fully reveal the inner meaning of the Torah. The Sefer HaZorah, divided in parts by the chapters that correspond with the weekly portion of the Torah. The Book of Bereshit, Bereshit now like a whole bunch of Jewish words. Book of Shema, Exodus. So you have the Book of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Zohar Hadash, the new Zohar edition of the weekly chapters. Additional book, the Book of Zohar, not directly commentary with the Torah, and Midrash Halim Nalam, the commentary of the writing Song of Songs, Ruth, Lamentations, and the Torah Pentateuch. Alright, Baal Islam wrote the commentary of the portion of Zohar with the known with he's made with the commentary with an introduction to the Book of Zohar charter of the Bereshit are expressed with the items to the term for the men of the spiritual world, but the most valuable article of the Zohar for a science of the Kabbalah are the Idrab, the Rahab, the Idrazuda, the Safra, Tizinta. All those expressed in the language of Kabbalah beside for the article for the rest of Zohar with the written in the language of Midrash. The original form of the Book of Zohar was written with the Rabbi Abbott in the 16th century was divided with weekly chapters. It was a volume that had several times larger than the text that has reached us, expanded not only with the Torah but also 24 other books for the Bible, the Pentateuch, prophets, and writings. Besides Zohar, the like of the Rabbi Shimon book of the Tachium corrections, he reached for those up as well with the comprehensive commentary for the first word of the Torah of Bereshit that includes everything. The book offers a Semitic translation of Zohar itself with the Rabbi Yehumad Ashlag of the Solemn commentary with my own explanation of the book. Also contains the first part of the Book of Zohar, Hasbad Sefer HaZorah, the introduction of the Book of Zohar. At the beginning of the text, a Semitic translation of the beginning of the bold script, the Salam, of the commentary of the explanation of the regulatory script, the italics, because it is termed extremely difficult to separate the main explanation of the Rabbi Eshlag of the holy text. Number the beginning of the items that correspond with the numbers of the items of the Book of Zohar with the Salam of the commentary, volume 1. The reason for the interlacing text is needed to be explained with the meaning of the Zohar with several languages, that language Kabbalah with the Sephirot, with the Parasium, the geometria and world, the language of the spiritual world, emotions, language of the Torah, native, and the language of the Talmud, judicial. The comprehended style of the Book of Zohar, I recommend the reader return the translation original text from the reading and the mastering of the commentary. The Book of Zohar, like who the Torah speaks exclusively of man and creation, the relationship with the creator. The Torah attaches the worldly appellation for all the man and inner properties. Thus, the aspiration of the creator is called Israel. The aspiration of selfish reception and his pleasure is called the nation of the world. However, there is no connection whatsoever between the name of the Torah and the Jew for the other names and other nations in the world. Kabbalah appeals to man and creation. The book contains articles commented with the upon language of the Kabbalah, others commented with over the language of the emotions, which easily understand. But the beginning of the reader can begin with the study of the books in which such articles, Night of the Bride, who joys on holidays, nevertheless complete with the Zohar entails systematic learning with the material with his most accustomed Kabbalah, the more permeates our hearts and can only be mastered and repeatedly reviewing studying material. Vav Mishal Latam. Alright, list of abbreviations. I'm not going to go through them. Well, let's see if it's only... I'm going to skip the list of abbreviations. If you want, download this book yourself and read it. Like, Zohar, the literal translation of the over cited text from Aramaic into English. Rabbi Hazak opened with the written with the rose among thorns. The rose is the assembly of Israel. Rose is the assembly of Israel because of the rose, and they rose just as a rose among the thorns is tined with red and white, with the assembly with the content for the judgment and mercy, just as the rose have 13 petals, the assembly with Israel surrounded on all sides, certain attributes with the mercy, however, the Al-Aklam, that there is there throughout the beginning of the 13 words surrounded with the assembly with Israel guarded it. Afterwards, there was mentioned another time, the reason was mentioned at another time in the bringing out of the 5 rigid leaves that surrounded the rose, and those of the 5 stands of salvation. There are 5 gates. And it was written with the request, I will raise with the cup of salvation, the cup of the blessing, and the cup of the blessing must rest the 5 fingers no more than just the rose rest over the 5 rigid leaves with the corresponding 5 fingers, and this rose cup of the blessing from the second to the third mention of the name, the Alkalim. There are 5 words. That from here on, the light was created with the concealed and clothed with the covenant, entered with the rose, and fruitified, and this is referred to as the fruitiferous tree, where there is seed, therefore the seed truly exists in the letter of the covenant. And just for the form of the covenant is sown with the 42 conception from the seed of the legislative special name of the creation sown. In the beginning of the Rashi, opened and the flower of the buds appeared with the earth, and the flower buds refer to the art of the creation that appeared onto the earth when the 3rd day is said to, and the earth shall populate. When they appeared to the earth, the time of the singing of the come, and there was the 4th day when the reduction of the light of the Hasidim, the voice of the turtle dove diverse. Refers to the 5th day, which was written, let the water swim with the produce offspring, and the herb that refers to the 6th day is written, let us stand and create man. There said, we will do and will hear in our land, refers to the day of Shabbat, which represents the land of life. Another meaning of the flower buds of the patriarchs in terms of throughout the 4 future worlds, they were concealed and emerged from their concealment. Was concealed themselves with the truth of the prophet Yusuf, that was after the born, concealed themselves with the Yusuf, entered with the holy land, found them there, and appeared with the land, with were revealed there. Yet when they are seen when a rainbow is seen in the world, it is when the rainbow is seen, but therefore are revealed with the time of the pruning that has come. That is time they eradicate the wicked of the world, when they wicked is saved, because the flower buds have been seen in the earth after they could not be seen, but they would have been remained in the world will not be, should be able to exist. 6. Who animates the world, called the path to appear with the voice of the children who stay with the Torah, meaning of that the children of the world save the world indifference to them, which will make the pendants of the gold. Therefore, the children of the world, and is said to be, will make 2 cherubs of gold. In the beginning of the Rabbi, Els will open with the rays of your eyes, and see who has created with the rays of your own eyes, to what place, to the place where the eyes depend on him, and who is, and is who, one who is open eyes, who will know as the concealed Attica. Wherein lies question, we created this, then who is am I? Who? He called the edge of the divine heaven, whether there everything belongs to him. As their question, has he is along the concealed path and does not reveal himself. He is called the Mi, for there is no other question above the heaven and the earth of the Mi. Another below the Ma is between that and the first one. The Mi is concealed with the question that becomes the man that asks, the searcher looks and behold with the degree until the end of all the degrees, and after he reveals that he is asked, Ma, and what have you learned? What have you seen? And what you have escaped, since you have everything is still concealed, just as it was before. As it is written in the secret of what can I point out to you, what can I compare to you? After all the temple was destroyed, the voice of the came forth and said, what can I point out to you, and what can I compare to you compare to you? On the world of Mi equal the testimony of each for the day, each testimony to you from the day of the past, as written, I call the witnesses of heaven and earth, in which like unto you, according to the same type of adjoining the holy ornaments made with the rule over the world, was written in this city that was called the Quintius beauty. So forth I call the Jerusalem city built by me, what compared to be you? Just as sit where he lives above, just as now the holy nation does not enter the perform in the holy work, I swear to you that I will not enter the above, and I will not down below. This is your consolation of the degree is equal to you in all things, and know that I am here. Your misery is great like the sea, and if you claim that there is no existence of the remedy for you, then the am I, or who shall heal you? It shall be permissibly concealed with the supernal degree, which animates with all things and heal your existence within you. 10. MI, upper edge of heaven, and MA, lower edge of heaven. This was the inherited of the Yokava, the shine of the edge of the first edge of the MI until the last edge of the MA. It was same in the middle, therefore, who created us? Rabbi Shimon with the May stop at the talk and reveal the supernal secret, which people wondering know. The Rabbi Elzer was silent. Rabbi Shimon wept and said, 1 minute, but the Rabbi Shimon said, Elzer, what is Leia? What are these? If you say stars and signs of zodiac, have you not always been? However, what was created is said of the world of the Creator and heavens, the concealed things that is not written by Elijah, because they are revealed. But the secret was never revealed until one of the day I was at the seashore, and Elijah came up to me and told me, Rabbi, do you not know who has created this? I told you that the heavens are in their host of the work of the Creator, that the man look at them, bless them as they're written, and when I have behold the heavens of the work of your hands, or master has glorious your name in the thoughts of throughout all heaven. He told that Rabbi that there was only one concealed with the Creator, that it revealed with the supernal assembly, and it is this: we conceal with the concealed desire to reveal himself. The verse made with one single point, and the point ascending with it became the thought. Within they drew all the forms in which engraved in all the items, all the images. He engraved inside of the concealed in the sacred candle and image with the concealed image of the holy of holies, and the profound structure emerged with the depth of the thought called the who is the inception of the structure, both being understanding, not standing, with a hidden deep inside the name, is not called the BM who, but he desired to reveal himself to be called the name that he clothed himself. So he clothed himself in the precious radiant garment, created Elijah, and Elijah ascended in the name. Letters combined with these and the name of the alkylium was completed until the alkylium. This alkylium did not extend to the form of alkylium, and soon but the worshipping of the golden calf of the secret of Elijah had given the Lord of Israel. Just am I joined with Elijah, so it is now the name of the remain four, united with the secret stamp of the world. Elijah then flew away, then I could not see him, and it was far from him that I knew that it was Sam of the secret explanation of the Rabbi. Elizra has come to discipline those to bow down from him, the web said, and that if we had not come into the world, they only to hear the secret, and it wouldn't have been enough. Rabbi Shimon said that on these heavens their host was created with an M.A. It said, when I behold the heavens, the work of your hands, and said, how glorious your name is throughout the earth. You'll set above the heavens, ascended in name. That this is why the light of the light and clothed into this elevated in the supernal name of the Creator, created with his beginning. Supernal Creator is for the M.A. and is not such, but was not created. Alright, the rose. This is where I'm going to cut off the introduction. We'll get into the first book.